All right, we're back at it. Dutch and Andrew, Dr. J, Dr. John Christensen, PhD in leadership. He's our Clemson connection if we haven't said it before. All right, John. I want you to pick up on that. This thing helped you get clarity. This whole process that we walked you through brought just extreme clarity. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but we've talked about it before and how everything came into focus for you. And then you hit like a rocket shot, man. It was just crazy how fast this stuff just rocketed for you. I mean, it was like within 6 months, everything was like turned around.
Yeah, so it's amazing how that works out because I think we all have goals. And they're lofty, and they're, I want to start a business. Okay, well, that's a great idea. In what? Oh, I don't know. I deal with this with my students all the time. And once I get them to a point of clarity, all of a sudden they're like, I have 3 students that are millionaires now. And all it took was them just refining what they're really dialing in what it was for them. So for me, it's always been a challenge for me. That's why mental toughness was unique in this regard. I grew up with a number of learning disabilities, have one of these conditions where my brain actually operates four standard deviations faster than the average. So, growing up, it was one of these things where, my brain was operating and my mouth couldn't keep up with it. So it took until I was getting approaching 14, 15, 16 years old where I could actually operate a conversation at a pretty relative level. And this actually enabled me to kind of, as much goes on, and you talk about the 11 million bits and the 126 that you process, actually dial in and focus on the ones that are relevant and relative to what you're going for. So for me, I knew what my goals were. I mean, it was pretty clear, I had 3 things I wanted to accomplish: go back and teach at Clemson, be my own boss, and write my first or second or third or fourth book. And okay, John, so what are you going to write about? I don't know. Got some ideas. Like, yeah, that's not good enough. We gotta get you something because otherwise nobody's going to want to publish you.
Yeah,
right?
You don't know what you're going to write about. Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, so what are you gonna teach at Clemson? I don't know. Well, so I was very fortunate to have a great relationship with, a guy that in Russ Marion that was the closest that I've had to a father figure since I lost my own, and he was very instrumental in getting me there. So I was lucky in that regard for him to say, I've got an opportunity for you. We really want you to come back and teach here. And he and I worked through it together. But that was kind of luck of the draw. The business acquisition was not luck of the draw. It was a partnership between my 2 business partners that had been here longer. I had seen several iterations of, how business cycles work and the like. And, I was kind of the one that came in with, I was a little more naive about it, but it may or may not have been a weapon in that regard that I hadn't seen all the stuff in the industry trends that said, this will work, this won't work. So the combination of the 3 of us, I've got 2 of the best business partners you could ever ask for. And, the next thing we went out and did was go find a guy that funny enough, it was actually on my bucket list of things that I had always wanted to do was go back to work with John David McKee, because he and I had worked together when we were younger in early consulting days, and go figure. He sold off his startups and said, yeah, I'm looking for work. And it just worked out. So, but at the same time, still have to kind of have a target, right? I mean, you
gotta have
talk
a target,
about that all the time.
Yeah, you gotta have a target.
And if you don't have, like our industry changes every 5 minutes. 2015 was the year of the reorg. And if we didn't reorganize around the reorganization of every company that we work with, we're not really going to do very well in 16, 17, or 18. Right? So we go through a business acquisition of 15, the year of the great readaptation, and it becomes quite a unique specimen for the non-ideal year to acquire a business. But with clarity, it's really not that hard, because all you have to do is let that target sit there. And if you don't let it be a double-edged sword of inertia, which is, let it be a moving target, you essentially sit on it and say, this is it. We're not deviating from this. We might change a few aspects about how we deliver this.
Right. But
if we don't deviate from this, we're good. And that's what we've done all year. And I think we've enjoyed, not significant success, but I think we've done pretty well with it.
Yeah, and you guys are building, and it's a great thing for us to watch. And you're right. You got I love your partners, and I love JD, and we love being hooked up with high performers, and being around you guys. And it is fun to watch the growth and the success that comes from taking these principles. That's where Dutch and I get our fulfillment, is watching, other people do. We're like coaches. This is like Dabo or Nick Saban. We get jazzed when the players on the field do great because of, the principles that we laid out for them.
Yeah, I absolutely love it, because I have the personal relationships with the people he's naming, and so I just light up when I hear when Dr. Christensen calls and gives me updates on what's going on, and even with the successes now, man, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is not even close to what it's going to be, and so I'm just sitting back, just enjoying the ride myself, and so I'm proud of that guy, man. I've heard some of the challenges that he spoke of in his childhood, which is amazing in and of itself. I mean, that's just, if you could hear more details about that, it will blow your mind. And from the situation with your brother, like just everything, man, and to get where you are today, you're talking about mental toughness. I mean, that's far beyond mental toughness, man. It's like another category up in the penthouse of mental toughness, man. So I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Well, it's a big love fest, but I'll get back to hammering you when we start texting or we call on the line again. So enjoy it while it lasts, John.
2 minutes.
I will. So can I answer one of the questions that's gotten thrown in?
Yeah, real quick, because we got about a minute and a half left. Yeah. So hit it, buddy.
Oh. Well, now you got to give me a question.
We ain't got no more.
Do I have to get you one?
No, I'll get you a question. All right. If someone truly can't stand a job, then salvaging it sounds like a tall order. How do we salvage a job that maybe shouldn't be salvaged?
The best thing I can say is ask yourself whether or not you were the problem.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to answer. It really is. But there were some times where I used to look at our former owner and say that he was the problem, when in fact, no, he was not. He was running a great business, and my perception of what he was doing was the problem. And once I kind of got on board with that, he and I became great friends before that even, but he was hard to work for because we just saw the world differently. But once I understood that that's how you see the world and I see the world this way, I can get on board with that.
Amen.
Right? So it's really that simple.
Yeah, and
at least from my perspective.
I love it.
And all jobs are different.
All right, thanks for joining us, John. Dutch, I'll see you on the radio next week. Shout out to Mickey. All right, thanks for joining us, everyone.